Hi, my name is Stephanie Robbins, and I am the CEO and president of Robbins Plumbing here in Phoenix, Arizona. And today I want to cover some of the pros and cons in the decision process of choosing between a gas standard tank water heater or a gas tankless water heater. And both of them have their pros and cons. So really my job today, my goal today is to make sure that you understand the basics in choosing which one might be right for you. It's your home and your castle, and only you should make that decision. So a tank style water heater is what many homes have. It's a technology that's more than 100 years old. And so you have your tank, it stores water all day, and it heats, cools, right? So the tank style water heater, the pro of choosing that water heater, and if your water heater is leaking, it's time to replace it. The pro of choosing that is the upfront cost is lower than a tankless. And I want to make sure that we understand the word cost. So that upfront cost is lower, and also a standard tank style water heater does not require electricity. So if you're in a situation, it's not very common here in the Phoenix area, but if you're in a part of the country where electricity goes out, it's not solid, then you're still going to have hot water. Well, at least enough hot water for, getting through that, because it's going to reheat, that kind of thing. But tank style water heaters don't require electricity, where a tankless does. And the other thing that is a pro about it is they're readily available. It isn't really a position where if you already have a tank style water heater, changing it out to a tank style water heater, it's not going to require a lot of code upgrades, venting upgrades, that kind of thing. It's a swap for swap. Obviously, if your existing heater is out of code, you're going to need to make some code upgrades, like a water heater pan, a sediment trap, that kind of thing. But you're typically going to find 99% of the time that you don't need to make code upgrades to like the venting or the gas line. So those are some pros to sticking to what you've got and going with that. Some of the cons of a tank style water heater is the size. You can, as soon as you go past 50 gallons, so if your water heater isn't producing enough gallons for your household right now, and 50 is really where the buck stops before now the upfront cost is no longer affordable. Then you're talking power venting or direct venting to meet the EPA's requirements to have larger than 50 gallons. When a client wants larger than 50 gallons on their gas water heater, instantly the discussion starts to turn to a tankless. It's more affordable in the short term and the long term to convert to a tankless versus upgrading from a 50-gallon gas to a 75-gallon gas and meeting those EPA standards. The other con, it's only going to last half as long. So when I said that the cost up front is lower, that doesn't mean the long term. A tank style water heater is only going to last half as long as a tankless. So in the Valley of the Sun, you can expect about 8 to 10 years on average for a gas water heater. If you have longer than that, cool for you. You probably have great water, or you've been maintaining it, or you are one lucky son of a gun. But the tank style water heater, in 27 years of doing this, the math just doesn't lie. They last half as long as a tankless. So that cost today, while it was less, is going to cost you more in 10 years, where the tankless is going to last twice as long. So it's really apples to apples on price almost when you compare, you're going to buy 2 to 1. So if you're considering a tank style water heater, really ask yourself, how long do I intend to live here? because do you want to do this again in 10 years and then, inflation, pricing isn't going to go down. The other con really to consider is the effectiveness of the energy source. Gas water heaters are the most inefficient source of heating water there is on the market. They are operating at 60 to 80% efficiency if you're lucky. And so while gas is currently affordable, so we don't think about it, it is super inefficient. So every dollar that you put into heating water with a standard tank, you're typically only getting 60 cents worth of hot water. So every day that you're using it, it's losing you money. The other thing is that, when it leaks, that is 50 gallons of water everywhere, and that's not a fun day. Switching over to the quick pros and cons of going with a tankless. So some of the pros of going with a gas tankless, it's endless hot water. That can be a pro, can also be a con, because, then you don't get people out of the shower, and that's like, hey, let's go. But it is endless hot water. It will literally perform all day, no questions asked, and that can actually increase your gas bill. So while you think that you're going to save money, because the other pro of it is way more efficient, way more efficient than a tank style. So a tankless is operating at 90% plus, depending on brand. And if you get condensing or non-condensing, that's a different video that we have. It is way more efficient. Plus, you're only using fuel when it's turned on. So it's not sitting all day cooling, heating, cooling, heating, cooling, heating. It's only working when it's on demand. So that is a huge pro, plus it's endless. The other thing that pro-wise, it is a whole lot smaller. A tankless is about the size of a suitcase, and it's up off the floor, up on the wall. It's sleek and out of the way, and is huge space savings. Other pros on going with a tankless is, like I said, it has a longer lifespan. If you maintain a tankless unit, it's going to last you 20 plus years. Good quality water and maintaining it 20, 30 plus years is normal. And that is a huge pro. So that investment up front becomes an investment, not just a cost. Because as long as you take care of it, it's going to take care of you. Again, brands are specific on that. And of course, I have my favorites, and I'm strongly opinionated on them. But some of the cons that you can see with a tankless is it does require electricity. They have a board inside of it that's what controls it. The temperature, all of those things. It's not just a dial and a flame and a thermostat. It is very controlled, so it does require electricity and an outlet. So if you are in a situation where a power outage occurs, you can expect that you're not going to have hot water unless you invest in some kind of battery backup system or a generator, that kind of thing. Other cons is that upfront cost. So while I consider it an investment, it can be a hard pill to swallow sometimes when you're making that first choice of this one or this one, and we're going just on cost, not versus, the lifespan. That initial investment can be a hot minute. Plus, there can be code upgrades. The venting for a standard tank water heater will not work with a tankless water heater. So there are some code adjustments that absolutely have to happen in order for this unit to work. There's con-wise maintenance. It absolutely requires it. So while a tankless can be a tank can be more forgiving, if you miss a year, you're not gonna go without hot water. If you go without maintaining a tankless water heater for too long, because of how instant and on demand it is, it's going to let you know with a bunch of error codes, and it's not going to work. So it is something, if you're not in tune with maintaining something, you know, it's just as important as changing the oil on your car and things like that. A tankless water heater absolutely requires maintenance in order to function and work properly. So that's something to really take into consideration, that once a year, depending on your water quality, you might be able to get to once every 2 years. Your house may be a little different than someone else's, but it's going to play a factor, and I think it's a part of the decision that should be in consideration. Because I mean, I've got some clients that it's November and the Christmas lights are still up from last year because, wow, it's November. Well, the lights are up and we're ready for December this year, because life gets crazy. So if that's where you are and you buy a tankless, I would highly recommend signing up with whatever company that you choose, that you get on a maintenance program. So they send you those reminders and they come out and flush that. So your investment lasts, like I said, that 20, 30 plus years, which is totally awesome. If you are in the market for a gas water heater, not sure what to get, want to go over those pros and cons, the gallon capacity that your home needs, that kind of thing, definitely reach out to us. We love giving consultations, helping you choose what's right for you. You can, of course, reach us at our landline, which is 623-486-4657. You can reach us by email at info@robinsplumbing.com. And you can, of course, also reach us on our website at, I said robinsplumbing.com, but that was in the email. But yeah, robinsplumbing.com. There's actually a little chat, and the dispatchers, they'll definitely answer your questions, set up someone to come out and give you a consultation and see what you got going on. Bye-bye.